politics of Sri Lanka takes place in a framework of a presidential representative democratic republic, whereby the President of Sri Lanka is both head of state and head of government, and of a multi-party system. Executive power is exercised by the government. Legislative power is vested in both the government and parliament. For decades, the party system has been dominated by the socialist Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the conservative United National Party. The judiciary is independent of the executive and the legislature. The politics of Sri Lanka reflect the historical and political differences between the three main ethnic groups, the majority Sinhala and the minorities Tamils and Muslims, who are concentrated in the north and east of the island. Executive branch: the President, directly elected for a 5-year term, is head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The election occurs under the Sri Lankan form of the contingent vote. Responsible to Parliament for the exercise of duties under the Constitution and laws, the President may be removed from office by a 2/3 vote of Parliament with the concurrence of the Supreme Court. The President appoints and heads a cabinet of ministers responsible to Parliament. The President's deputy is the Prime Minister, who leads the ruling party in Parliament. A parliamentary no-confidence vote requires dissolution of the cabinet and the appointment of a new one by the President. Legislative branch: the Parliament has 225 members, elected for a 5-year term, 196 members elected in multi-seat constituencies and 29 by proportional representation. The President may summon, suspend, or end a legislative session and dissolve Parliament. Parliament reserves the power to make all laws. The primary modification is that the party that receives the largest number of valid votes in each constituency gains a unique bonus seat. The President may summon, suspend, or end a legislative session and dissolve Parliament any time after it has served for 1 year. Parliament reserves the power to make all laws. Since its independence in 1948, Sri Lanka has remained a member of the Commonwealth of Nations. Political parties and elections. In August 2005, the Supreme Court ruled that presidential elections would be held in November 2005, resolving a long-running dispute on the length of President Kumaratunga's term. Mahinda Rajapaksa was nominated the SLFP candidate and former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe UNP candidate. The election was held on November 17, 2005, and Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected the 5th Executive President of Sri Lanka with a 50.29% of valid votes, compared to Ranil Wickremesinghe's 48.43%. Mahinda Rajapaksa took oath as President on November 19, 2005. Ratnasri Wickremesinghe was appointed the 22nd Prime Minister on November 21, 2005, to fill the post vacated by Mahinda Rajapaksa. He was previously Prime Minister in 2000. Administrative divisions: local government is divided into two parallel structures, the civil service, which dates to colonial times, and the provincial councils, which were established in 1987. Civil service structure equals, the country is divided into 25 districts, each of which has a district secretary who is appointed. Each district comprises 16 divisions, each with a DS, or divisional secretary, again, appointed. At a village level, Grammar Nilladari, Samurdhi Nilladari and agriculture extension officers work for the DSs. Provincial council structure equals, under the Indo-Sri Lankan Accord of July 1987 and the resulting 13th Amendment to the Constitution the Government of Sri Lanka agreed to devolve some authority to the provinces. Provincial councils are directly elected for 5-year terms. The leader of the council majority serves as the province's chief minister with a board of ministers. A provincial governor is appointed by the president. The provincial councils have full statute-making power with respect to the provincial council list, and shared statute-making power respect to the concurrent list. While all matters set out in the reserved list are under the central government. Local government structure equals. Below the provincial level are elected municipal councils and urban councils, responsible for municipalities and cities respectively, and below this level Pradeshio Sabhas, again elected. There are 18 municipal councils, Sri Jayawardenepura Kot, Kadola, Colombo, Kandy, Jaffna, Gaul, Matara, Derwala Mount Lavinia, Anuradhapura, Gampaha, Moratuwa, Ratnapura, Kuranagala, New Weraliya, Badulla, Batticaloa, Kalmune, Negombo. 42 urban councils, 270 Pradeshio Sabhas. Judicial branch. Sri Lanka's judiciary consists of a Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court, and a number of subordinate courts. Sri Lanka's legal system reflects diverse cultural influences. Criminal law is fundamentally British. Basic civil law is Roman Dutch, but laws pertaining to marriage, divorce, and inheritance are communal, known as respectively as Khandayan, Thesavalame and Muslim. Courts of law, Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, Court of Appeal of Sri Lanka, High Court of Sri Lanka, District Courts, Magistrates' Courts, Primary Courts. Foreign relations of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka generally follows a non-aligned foreign policy but has been seeking closer relations with the United States since December 1977. It participates in multilateral diplomacy, particularly at the United Nations, where it seeks to promote sovereignty, independence, and development in the developing world. Sri Lanka was a founding member of the non-aligned movement. It also is a member of the Commonwealth, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank, and the Colombo Plan. Sri Lanka continues its active participation in the NAM, while also stressing the importance it places on regionalism by playing a strong role in SAARC. Sri Lanka is member of the IAEA, IBRD, ADB, CP, ESCAP, FAO, G24, G77, ICAO, ICRM, IDA, IFAD, IFC, IFRCS, IHO, ILO, IMF, IMO, and MERSAT, Intelsat, Interpol, IOC, IOM, ISO, ITU, NAM, OAS, OPCW, PCA, SAARC, UNCTAD, UNESCO, UNIDO, UNU, UPU, WCL, WCO, WFTU, WHO, WIPO, WMO, WTOO, WTROTH. Political pressure groups. Civil society participation in decision-making and opinion-shaping is very poor in Sri Lanka. Professionals, civil society groups, media etc. do not play a significant role in Sri Lankan politics and, as a result, many aspects of the lives of ordinary citizens are politicized. In addition, the vacuum created by the silence and inactivity of civil society has let in radical groups such as the ethnic religion-based groups, trade unions, and NGOs have taken lead roles as political pressure groups. See also, Sri Lanka, List of rulers of Ceylon, List of presidents of Sri Lanka, List of prime ministers of Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka leftist parties. Notes. References. Sources. External links. Sri Lanka government at DMOZ, Office of the Governor, UVIS / a paragraph a euro a paragraph 1/2 AA paragraph sh paragraph a paragraph sha paragraph ta paragraph sha a paragraph a euro a paragraph sha a paragraph a sha paragraph AA paragraph 1/2 a paragraph.